Welcome to our morning show today on WRCO Radio. We're talking about the Greater Richland Area Chamber of Commerce, and we have its president, Christy Adsett, in the studio with us, and treasurer John Eddington as well. So we'll talk about some of the things that have happened and also some of the things coming up here as we close out 2025 and near October. Well, good morning, Christy. How did the wine walk go on Friday night?
The wine walk was awesome. We had wonderful weather. It was beautiful. The theme was suits and sequins. So we had a lot of people running around in some very sequined outfits, guys and girls, and a lot of suits. Everyone that I've talked to, business-wise and participants, really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. They liked the idea of the trivia part. They liked the idea of, where they had to get their game piece stamped. We made it kind of like a board game this time. And there was a lot of good interaction with business owners and individuals, which is what we were looking for. And it was just a really good night. It was a lot of fun.
How did the trivia aspect of that work?
So Ken Thied had worked with us, and he had gone around, I should say, to the businesses that were participants and asked them if they had or he helped them contrive 2 questions regarding their business. So like for my store, Sunnyside, it was, what business was in this building back in the 70s and 80s, which was Empire Drugstore or Rexall Drugstore. Well, that was one of them. And then people had the trivia sheet, business owners had the trivia sheet, and then they would go around and on the back of their map, they could answer that. That's where the interaction part came in. They could ask the owners, they could ask whoever, if they needed help with those questions. And so that was kind of a talking point to get people start talking, maybe asking questions about the business, what they sold, making it more personable experience.
That's an excellent idea, because I was thinking as you're talking about that, I'm like, well, they can't Google that. Somebody that's young, they're not going to figure that out. But it brought up a conversation then.
Exactly. And that's the big difference. When you talk about, dying downtowns or dying retail, what is the one thing local retail can do that Amazon cannot? Be personable and give that connection, that personal connection. So, so down the road when your kids need somebody to sponsor their soccer team, you don't feel so guilty about going in and asking that business owner because you have been a loyal participant in that business. So it's all good connections. Customer service is huge, and so that's a really good start to that, getting that connection and to go on to give good customer service, and normally you'll get the loyal customers in the end.
I don't think you could have had any better weather for the wine walk.
Oh, that was beautiful. You could walk around short sleeves all night, and it was just wonderful out. Yeah. So
perfect. So then that went well, and what's the next big outing? Do you have some things to do with this weekend's Color Fest?
Color Fest, we just normally kind of help Marty, Richland Tourism, with that. He's got the parade going Saturday night. We encourage businesses to, decorate and things like that downtown, but the big thing is the parade, and I know like Oakwood has their open house, and Wheels of Time is on this weekend too. So it's just, the parade is a huge thing. And then it's homecoming this weekend too for Richland Center. So downtown will be very busy with 2 parades in 2 days.
Yeah, right. That doesn't happen. It
happened last year.
It did last year.
Yes.
It doesn't happen every year.
No,
but
it seems like it's an ongoing theme lately. So,
it has to go along with the home football game at that time.
Yes.
So it will be fun. It'll be busy this weekend. And so far, we're reading a good forecast for you again,
that
too.
Sounds like it's supposed to be good weather.
We'll
so
keep
that's
doing
a good
that.
Thing. Yes.
John Eddington is here as well. John, you're the treasurer. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, I grew up in southwest Wisconsin on a dairy farm with the family, a long multi-generational farm. My family and I live on a farm also. We do finish steers, and we have a Christmas tree farm that we started. So eventually we'll be selling Christmas trees and hosting that event every Christmas period. My wife's a professor at UW-Madison, and I work for Community First Bank as a loan officer.
Awesome. How's the year been for Christmas trees? Has it been kind of dry?
Actually, we had a really good spring for all the new plantings, and it looks like we're going to have really good quality trees this year.
With Community First Bank, a member of the chamber, why is it important to be a member of the Richland Area Chamber of Commerce, do you feel?
Just to be involved with the community, give back to the community, and make sure that we're out there doing what we can to better the events for the individuals, for the people in town and in Richland County.
And you've been involved with the chamber now for a little while, have you, personally?
Yep, it's been about a year. So it's a 2-year stint, and we look to continue to contribute to the community.
If a business owner comes to you, and John, and says, why do you think, what are the benefits? Why should I be a member? What would you respond to?
Well, they get recognition within our website. Also, we bring them in like the wine walk. We have members that we're hosting the wine walk, so their business was highlighted. People were entering in those businesses and being able to meet the owners, understand what the business does. And as Christy said earlier, there's 2 trivia questions to help also understand the business more.
I'm guessing there could be a lot of trivia around the warehouse lounge, right? They probably didn't have any trouble coming up with something, did they?
I agree.
And that is open now, right, on Friday nights?
The 80 German Lounge is now open.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell us about that? Anything in particular, anything special coming up this fall there?
Great. It's a great place to go with your friends and relax and just unwind for the day and have a little beverage and great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do some night markets coming up in October and November. I think December too. They're going to do 2 or 3 of those, I know, this fall. And the chamber's helping with them, helping kind of with organization of that, getting some, putting the word out for vendors and things like that. So.
And it won't be long. They'll be doing the Halloween scare as well, right?
Well, that's going to be a dance or something this year, I think they're doing. So I just saw it on Facebook, but yeah, it's always a lot of fun. They get a lot of people to participate in that.
They do, like a scary rave or something.
Yeah,
that
was the name. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
That should be fun. You have some After 5 events, John, this year, and could you talk about the next one?
Coming up is Edward Jones's Business After 5. Katie's hosting that, so there'll be refreshments for people, great conversation. So come on down.
And that is a place to kind of highlight the business with everybody else, because you're all busy. You probably don't see each other that much during the day, do you?
Agreed. It's a great time to bring in and kind of show customer appreciation for your customers, and also identify and highlight your business for potential new people.
Yeah, networking.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, have you found them to be useful, the Business After 5 meetings?
Yeah, they are. And I think the one thing that people need to realize, the events normally run like from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8. You don't have to be there for the whole thing. The big thing is just to stop in. The last one we had was at VARC, and we had probably 35, 40 people at that one. It was very interesting because there was a lot of things about VARC I didn't know, and they gave tours and stuff like that. And like you said, it's a good chance to network, but then it was also a good opportunity to learn more about what that business actually does. And I didn't realize how many programs they have, that they work for different ability individuals. So it was very informative, and everyone that I talked to at Gone, they were just like, yeah, I didn't realize the VARC did all those things. So, But yeah, it's a good informational as well as networking opportunity.
I know you have Pumpkin Fest to plan for. That'll be a biggie coming up at the end of the month of
Yeah,
October.
we work with, there's a Pumpkin Fest committee, and then the Lions, the Richland Center Lions are helping with that also. So that's the last weekend in October, the 22nd to the 26th. And the 22nd is when they do the pumpkin. They hand out free pumpkins if you need a pumpkin to take for decorating. And then the event really starts on that following Wednesday. And they're going to have this year on Saturday, Simons is having a run walk to go with it, as well as an open swim. Okooch Humane Society is doing a coloring contest right now. I think you can pick the forms up at the library. It's on Facebook. If you check out the Pumpkin Fest, Richland Center Pumpkin Fest Facebook page, you can find out what's going on. And there'll be activities going on Saturday as well, that last Saturday of the month at the courthouse. Looks like we might have a petting zoo and a couple, maybe little food stands or a couple other things going on for kids' activities too. So.
As a downtown business, you probably see lots of people coming in from out of town. In fact, you had the murder mystery recently as well. That must have went over pretty well.
The murder mystery was crazy. How many people, Crime Stoppers did an amazing job. They were not for sure how big of a attendance they would have. It was the first time they did it, but there was a lot of people. new people through the downtown. I would say there was probably 300-400 people downtown on Saturday. The number of people walking around was crazy. And then Sunday, it was a little bit smaller, but there still was a lot of people, new people, and people that were from the area, I would say, that I hadn't seen in a while. So it was a good thing. People were really excited. I had a funny comment on Sunday when we were open for it. A couple of the characters were sitting in my store, and they were dressed in Western wear. And this couple, they were coming back actually from Driftless Music Gardens, and they live in Mount Horeb, and they stopped at the store to have breakfast. And I was talking to him, and the guy goes, "Is there like a horse show going on or something around here?" And I'm like, "No." I said, they're part of it. I said, and I would explain the whole murder mystery, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, you should, watch the Chamber Facebook page and whatever." And I said, they're going to have it next year too. So, but yeah, it was just funny, just comments like that from people. They didn't know they had just stumbled upon it. And they had been, like I said, driftless the night before, and they just loved it. This was their second trip up there, so.
Yeah, that's one of the key things. I was downtown too, and it was funny to see people in costume walking around. If you didn't know what was going on and you're from out of town, it would be a shock to the system.
I told him, I said, we do have a few unusual dressers, but we have a lot more than normal this weekend running around because of the murder mystery. So I said, just don't be alarmed.
That's probably one of the things, a challenge to trying to think outside the box to bring in new things like this, so it's not the same old, right?
Oh yeah, and you get a different group. That murder mystery, there's people that follow those murder mystery weekends on different towns, and they go from town to town as groups and do that. And that's kind of the same thing when we did the trivia with the wine walk. There's a different group of people that go out for trivia all the time. And so we were hoping to bring a new audience, so maybe they would experience something different. And, maybe they'll come back next year and do the wine walk, whether we have trivia or not. So, you're always trying to think of how can we expand this and get new people, because the same people, you can't, you need to expand that circle, Unfortunately, with life, I know there's many of my loyal customers. Yes, I've lost over the years I've been in business, but you got to try to bring in a few more people. And, and it's just an ongoing thing, trying to think of something new, thinking something that's a little different that's going to expand that audience.
Yeah. And, John, you kind of plant the seed with events like this. You hope that people will come back eventually then for something else, right?
You bet. That's, the Pumpkin Fest, this is the third year for that. So always trying to develop and bring in new ideas and new events to help the community, help the downtown small businesses, and to stay vibrant.
Mm-hmm. Do you network with other chambers to try and kind of work out what they have as ideas and maybe bring them back? Yeah?
We do look at other chambers and what they do for events, and also this past year we worked with Spring Green and met with them to identify what they do, and we host our annual event for just the employees to try to brainstorm ideas at that location.
You've lived in other communities as well, I'm sure. What makes Richland Center or Richland area unique, do you think?
Well, for one thing, it's beautiful. Being in the Driftless area, we have just a beautiful area to live in and to explore. We've got in the area, we have canoeing, we've got hiking, biking, events like that. We have a great downtown with the small businesses with a lot of different opportunities for shopping there. And it's a tight-knit community. If somebody needs something, we're there to help them expand.
Yeah, very much so. Christy, after the Pumpkin Fest, then, is that kind of the last big thing of the year, or are you trying to scheme for some sort of winter event?
Well, right now, Pumpkin Fest is kind of like the last big thing, but then we kick off, we do promotion for Small Business Saturday. We try to really promote shopping local. We have the Chamber Checks or Chamber Buck program, so you can purchase, and that's something we'll be sending out to a lot of the local business and stuff, as an incentive for employee gifts maybe, or even individuals. You can purchase Chamber checks, and we have $5, $10, and $20, and you can purchase them and then use them at any of the participating Chamber businesses. So, anywhere from the Locker to my store to JJ Walsh, you can go buy jewelry. You can, there's quite a few businesses. You can go buy wine out at Wild Hills. There's quite a few businesses that are on that, and we've been expanding that more and more. But that's kind of like our really big promotion through the holiday season, just to try to encourage people to shop local and, to support local business.
Do you make your Christmas list and give it to Kent and say, here's some Here's some chamber bucks. Go get me some jewelry, right?
I'm like, just surprise me.
Just surprise me. How does that work, Christy, from a business standpoint, with the business bucks then? How do you get your money back when somebody uses
So they're
those?
basically like a check, and you get it, and then the individual that's purchasing from that business fills in the business name, and then so if it's for $20 and your purchase is for $21.95, well, you would need to pay the $1.95 difference. But if you don't use the $20, you're not going to get change back. So that's why we did the smaller increments, because let's say if you went to my store and you just went and came and had coffee, well, maybe you had a $5 chamber buck. You could get coffee and a pastry, and that would basically take care of it, and but we tried to make them so different amounts so people could use them in different circumstances.
Right. So then do you turn those in? Like it's almost like somebody writes you a personal check?
Yep, it's just like a personal check. So then the business just takes and deposits them with their at their bank, and then they go through a separate checking account that we have for the chamber, and then John tracks that and how many we have redeemed and that type of thing.
That works out pretty slick, doesn't it, John?
It does.
Yeah, in terms of businesses, some are probably used more at some businesses than others, right?
They are. There's businesses that are promoted more and have greater opportunity to use it, but it's a great way to get customers into your store.
When will they be available again then? Have you got a plan for that?
They're pretty much available anytime right now.
Oh.
They'll start back, we will start really promoting it probably November, first part of November, end of October, first part of November. We'll start putting promotions out about it. So
But you're right, it's great for area businesses to get these for their employees.
The hospital was a huge, last year they bought a number of them for employees, so that really helped us out, get it going. But we had a lot of private individuals and even just small companies bought some too. So last year was our first year, so we've been trying to get this off the ground for a couple years, and we had been looking at you can do a credit card like with it, but there's so many fees in it. People were going to lose, and so that's why we were like, no, we're not going to do that. And then we could have did like just a regular paper gift card type thing where we would have had to go reimburse the business, but we wanted the businesses to have access to the money right away. So that's why we did the check option. And I think Reedsburg does a check option too. We looked at a number of chambers around and kind of asked them what was the strengths and weaknesses of each thing. And then we decided from there, that's when we went with the check thing. So that businesses, once they took that in, all they have to do is endorse it and deposit it with their nightly receipts.
Isn't it hard to believe, though, we're talking about things going on in the last 2 months of the year?
Where the beginning of the year went, I have no idea.
I know it. Crazy. But looking toward the holiday season and everything. And then how often does the chamber meet?
We meet once a month, the second Wednesday of the month, and we meet at the depot. Our meetings are supposed to start at 4. It's usually a little after 4 by the time we all get there, and then they run till at least 5:30 sometimes. So it kind of depends how many things we have on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's welcome to attend them as well. So.
Oh, sure. And then looking ahead toward the future, I'm guessing you're already kind of planning for 26, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll have. Starting in January, we have a retreat. We do like an afternoon retreat. And last year, like John was saying, we went down to the Spring Green Chamber. It's a good chance for all the officers and board members to get together. We do some brainstorming, kind of plan out the year, what our goals are, and what our things we're going to emphasize, and then we develop a plan, and people take assignments. Who's gonna be the chair for the Taste of the Hills, and who's going to be for different events that we have, and we go from there. So
I know you've had the night markets in the past. Any chance those will come back then? Or
that'll be something we'll talk about and see. I'm at this point, I don't know. They were the first year or two we had them. They seemed like they were really well attended, and then last year the attendance had dropped off. So, but then there were some other businesses that were having them too, and so then we thought, well, let them run them. Well, then a lot of them didn't do them this year either. So I'm not exactly for sure. It was fun. It was but like I said, our goal as a chamber, we're trying to be the seed starter. So if a business decides to do the night market, hey, awesome. Let them take it and run with it. We don't have to do that. We have limited time and limited people. So we'll see. That'll be something that'll be talked about. We'll have Taste of the Hills again in June. That'll always be a staple. We'll have the wine walk in the fall. I don't know what we're going to do for the spring. If we'll do a wine walk, it's hard to do. I shouldn't say it's hard. It's just it is very time consuming to do the wine walk. I'm on the committee, and I'll just give a shout out to Jamie Walsh and Shelley Ferguson are my other two cohorts that helped me with that. But it does take a lot of time Shelley goes around and gets all the businesses on board. And so it's just time consuming to get everything together. So the spring is always a hard time to find that perfect date with Mother's Day, Memorial Day, and everything in there. So I don't know we might do something a little different this year. So.
And I know you went away from the baskets downtown, but I think a lot of people had good response from the flags.
Yeah, we did the flags, and then people seem to really like those. The baskets, I see them in other communities, and I drive by, and I love flowers, so I'm always like, oh, those look so pretty. But I think the flags went over really well. Now Pumpkin Fest flags are up, and then the city will put up the winter decorations soon, too. So we've been talking, maybe we'll do something else in the fall. We didn't do the corn shacks this year, but everything can change. It's just kind of, we step back and reevaluate every year to see what works and what doesn't work. So.
And you're always open for suggestions, I'm sure, John, right?
You bet. If anybody has any great ideas they'd like to talk about, bring it to the chamber, and we'll definitely entertain the idea.
Anything else you'd like to add this morning, John?
Not at this point.
Great. Well, nice to meet you this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to meet you, Phil.
You bet. Christy, anything you would like to add?
The only thing I'd like to say is just a big shout out to all the businesses that were sponsors for the wine walk. We had a really good response. I think they were all happy with the response, and we really appreciate their support and their efforts, because it does, like I said, it does take time and it does take some money to do all that stuff. So thank you.
And it requires staying open later and things like that.
And extra employees, and we all try to make it fun and enjoyable so people remember it. So that's what it's all about.
Well, we'll probably see you Friday afternoon. The homecoming parade will be
You'll be up
around.
a block, but I'll see you.
Yeah, sometime. I think last year we did go right in front of your building, so we'll kind of figure out the best spot.
Yeah.
And then the nighttime parade on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, Marty will be downtown.
Yeah, and that's at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. I
think so, yeah. When it's starting to get dark earlier now.
Oh, it sure is, no doubt.
Doesn't take long.
Well, thanks for coming in, both of you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Richland Area Chamber joining us here today, Christy Adsit and John Eddington on this portion of the morning show. Coming up, we'll talk about another great event going on in the community this very weekend, the Wheels of Time.